What's good, my lovely peoples? It's your main man, Solace here, the humble wise one. Now, today I want to do this video called A Math Lesson is a Life Lesson. So what I'm going to do is show you a math lesson and how it correlates and can be used as a life lesson. So I'm going to show you how a math problem can be used to solve a life problem. But before I go into the video, I want to discuss something else because it correlates. Now, today I was watching this video of this top-level scientist, and he was breaking down this very interesting thing he observed in math. And it was a very deep thing. Now, what he observed was this. A circle, a complete circle, is 360 degrees. So that's 360. Now, if you add 3, 6, and 0 together, you get 9. Then he went on to say half of 360 degrees is 180 degrees. And he noticed how if you add 180, which is 180, together, you get 9. And half of 180 degrees is 90 degrees. And if you add 9 and 0, you get 9. And half of 90 degrees is 45 degrees. And if you add 4 and 5 together, you get 9. Now, he continued on for about 20 minutes, breaking down how all numbers correlate back to 9. And how this was a universal number. And it was a very deep, interesting thing. Now, while I was watching this video, I was waiting for him to get to the point and break down how this observation mattered in life. What did it mean in life? What did the number 9 being everywhere meant in life? And how could people apply this? And this never happened. The whole video was him just showing you how smart he was in math and how he observed that universal number 9 showing up everywhere, but he never broke down anything you could walk away with that was worth anything. So it's a deep thing because this happens a lot. Now, we all observe things. Men observe how the galaxy spirals. They observe how the back of a man's hair spirals when it's cut. They notice how the fingerprints spiral, just like the galaxies or the back of a head. But they can never tell you what does that matter in the life and what's the point. We never get that. We only get the observation and nothing else. So it's a deep thing. And the reason this happens is because people don't know the life. So when they observe things, they have nothing to correlate it to. It's a deep thing. See, I can see a thing or read a book, and I know life. So then I understand the book by applying it to life. Men read books and they apply it to other books because other books and things that men said are the foundation of their knowledge. So grasp how deep that is. You get nowhere like that. Now, let me get into my video because I'm going to do just like the scientists did, except I'm going to actually get to a point. And it's a very deep thing that I want y'all to grasp. So I'm going to show you a math lesson. And in that math lesson, I'm going to show you how it correlates in life. Now, we all know you have numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3. So we all know you have numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3. And that would be positive numbers. Then on the other side of that, you would have negative numbers. So that's the other side. You have positive numbers on one side, negative on the other. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And this is positive numbers. Then you have the same thing, but negative. 0, -1, -2, -3, and so on. And this would be negative numbers. Now, we all learned this in school as a child, so don't get lost. But I want you to observe a thing in that. I want you to observe how when the negative numbers are added together or subtracted together, they end up on the positive side. So -1 plus -1 equals +2, just like +1 plus +1 equals 2. Grasp that. -4 plus -3 equals +7, just like +4 plus +3 equals 7. So I want you to observe how the positive numbers add up to be positive, and how the negative numbers, they add up and end up on the positive side also. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp, because in that, you can grasp how matter and antimatter works. And I want to show you. It's a simple thing, because a lot of people think antimatter is some invisible realm of the life. And antimatter comes up into the physical realm, same world we're in, just like regular matter. So you have to grasp, it's the same as the numbers. The antimatter appears in this physical reality with us, just like regular matter. Just like negative numbers appear on the positive side, just like positive numbers. So with antimatter with matter you have protons, neutrons, and electrons, and this makes an atom. Now with antimatter you have protons, neutrons, and electrons also. Just put anti in the front. But you have the same thing on the antimatter side. Protons, neutrons, and electrons. But the only difference with the antimatter side is they act opposite of what they should. So a proton gives off a positive charge. But in antimatter, a proton gives off a negative charge. And this is how you can grasp a lesson through math, because it's deep. Now, when you look at antimatter in this physical world and you say, well, where is the antimatter? The antimatter are the homosexual people. They do just like antimatter. They are what they are, but they act and give off a different charge. So an antimatter proton doesn't act positive. It acts negative, but it's supposed to act positive. Just like a homosexual person. Could be a man, but he acts like a woman, but he's a man. And this is your antimatter in matter. Just like you have negative numbers and positive numbers, and how those negative numbers are just like antimatter, but they will appear on the positive side. So now a -2 and a -2 will equal a +4. You have to grasp that +4 was made by negatives. The +2 plus the +2 equals 4. But that 4 was made by positive numbers. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. It's just like antimatter. Just because it's antimatter don't mean it's somewhere else. But I'm going to give you a better math problem for a life lesson. That was just a warm-up. Now I want y'all to grasp. Same scale. You got positive numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And then you have negative numbers, 0, -1, -2, -3, and so on. Now I want you to grasp. When you add a negative number and a positive number together or subtracted, it becomes negative. Grasp that. A -2 plus +2 will equal a -4. So the negative makes the positive negative. And this is math. Now, being as though math came from life, meaning men observed life and they made math, I'm going to show you how that math problem correlates to life. How does -2 plus +3 equaling -5 correlate to a life problem? Well, in the math problem, you know that negative, when added to a positive or joined to a positive, it becomes negative. Now, in life, it's the same thing. If you take a negative person and you put them around a positive person, that positive person will become negative. It's a deep thing. If you take a negative person and you put them around a positive person, whatever negative things are coming to that negative person will affect the positive person too, because they're around the negative person. So even if you're positive and you're around negative people, you may not take on the negative ways, but whatever negativity they have coming their way will affect you too, because you're there. So a negative will always turn a positive negative in physical life. You take a negative person and you put them in a good positive surroundings. The positive surroundings will become negative. So you have to grasp in life. You notice how you read certain things like see no evil, hear no evil, and the good people try to stay completely away from bad people? It's a reason for that. Because any negative influence will make the positive negative. And you learned that in math. But it was never applied to life. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. You can't beat the forces of the life. Whether it shows up in math or in life, you can't beat the forces of the life. You have to know a thing to know a thing so you can move how you need to. So as opposed to trying to be a positive person, making negative people positive, that's not going to work. The only thing that's going to make a negative person positive is another negative person, just like math. A negative and a negative becomes a positive. And just like in the life, a negative person will make another negative person positive if that negative person is worse. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. One bad man can make another bad man go good if he's worse. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. Positive people need to stay around positivity only. And this is why the life is how it is, where it's all negative. Even a good person is bad in the reality we live in. And that's because negative people are around positive people. We mix the negative and the positive in the life together. And it's a deep thing, because this starts with the body. The spirit is positive, you can say. It knows no negativity. The body is full of worldly desires and lust. And that's the deep thing, because when you add a negative to a positive, what happens? You get a negative. So now, where are we in this life? Everybody's living through their body, in their lust, in their desires for physical worldly things. Even when they begin to break down knowledge, they speak from the body. They say, I am conscious because I'm vegan and I eat this diet or that diet. Now, if you're a vegan, that's a good thing. It's a lighter diet than meat. So it will have less effect on you, being as though people don't flush the way they should nowadays and drink a gallon or more of liquid. But that's not the point. The point is this. What you eat is for the body. So you have to grasp. Everyone's lost in the body, which is the negative. Because this is the negative weight of the spirit, the body. The desires and lust of the body. The body needs to eat. Physical is food. This leads to a man being greedy and wanting more food than he needs. Mind you, food is the life. Life sustains life, so you eat food. A man becoming greedy on food is a bad thing. Mind you, this is a physical, worldly desire of the body, not of the spirit. Sex. Having lust for women. This is a physical, worldly desire of the body. And the spirit is clouded in all of this. Because the negative makes the positive negative. So people's spirits are negative and completely lost in the body. It's a deep thing. In order for you to keep your spirit positive, you got to keep your body positive. Now, how do you keep your body positive? By ignoring the lust and desires of it. Because the body is going to lust and desire all physical things. The body doesn't desire the things the spirit desires. Like love, principalities, morality. The body has no desires for that because that's unphysical. But the spirit needs these things. This is why it's important that people understand the duality of the body and of the life. The spirit and how it's bound of principality and morality, in love and peace and things like this. And how the body is attracted to the desires and physical lust of this world. And you have to take hold of your body. And understand that a negative will always make a positive negative. And if you let your body delve into the negative, your spirit will go with it. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Y'all lost in the worldly desires, which is the negative of the life. The physical is the negative of the life. It holds the spirit back. It holds the conscious back. Because this is what distracts you from thinking. When you're bored and you have nothing to do and nothing to look at, then all you have to do is think. But you're distracted by a whole bunch of things you see and want. And this stops you from thinking and becoming one with self. And it's a very deep thing you'll have to grasp. Through math, all life lessons lie. Because all math problems came from life problems. 1 plus 1 came from life. Grasp that. One person and another person became 2. And this is how you got 1 plus 1. From someone observing one thing and then another thing. So don't think the math came and the life is a mimic of the math. No. The math is a mimic of the life. Everything you see and know is a mimic of the life. And this is why it's important that you know the life. The life must be your foundation and root of knowledge. So that when you see a thing, you know, okay, this is like this in the life. See, I'll do a video breaking down something in the life, and the brother will say, that's just like this movie Avatar. No. The movie Avatar is like life. It's like what I'm saying. But it just ain't fully right. And in order for you to grasp the thing, you got to leave the life as the foundation. A man starts breaking down dimensions. You must understand life and how the life is within the life. And all worlds are bodies, just like your body is a world. You have to grasp things like this, so that when the man starts to speak on dimensions, you have a foundation. He doesn't. His foundation is whoever he heard speak on dimensions. And this is why it never correlates to nothing. And men are running around looking for invisible worlds and all of this weird stuff. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. I can learn from anything because I know the life. This is why I say I know all things. Even if I've never heard it, explain it to me. And I'll tell you what it correlates and what it came from in the life. So it's a simple, deep thing that y'all have to grasp. We get a lot of information and we get a lot of observations. But what can you do with it? See, I just broke down positive numbers and negative numbers and how you can use that in life and how it correlates to life. And this is how all knowledge must be broken down. This is why it's important that y'all begin to learn the life. It's like scientists. They have proton, neutron, and an electron. 3 things. making one. Meaning, proton, neutron, and electron is an atom, which is one thing. But they don't have what makes proton. Let me give it to you like this. Simple. They have proton, neutron, and electron being one thing, which is an atom. So those three things together make one thing. Now, two up quarks and one down quark makes a proton. So that's three things. Two up, one down equals a proton. Two down quarks, one up quark equals a neutron. One thing. So you see how deep that is? Those three things become one thing, which is an atom. And within each of those three things individually is three things that make them up. So a proton, neutron, and electron is an atom. Now, what makes up a proton? Two up quarks, one down quark. Three things make up that one thing. Grasp. Same with a neutron. Two down quarks and one up quark equals a neutron. So three things make that one thing. And that one thing is tied to two other things, and they are three things that make up one thing, which is an atom. So now you have to grasp. What makes up the quark? Now, scientists haven't got this far yet, but it's a simple thing. Because if two up quarks and one down quark makes a proton, then it's the same for the quarks. Three things make an up quark. Three things would make a down quark. Now, what would them three things be? Scientists haven't got this far, so there's no names for them. But I'll just break it down to you like this. The three things that make up the quark is the vibration, the frequency, and the sound. And this is what makes the quark. A certain vibration, a certain frequency, a certain frequency, and a sound will emerge. And together, that's your quark. And it's a deep thing, because this is how the life works. You got the three that become the one, and so on and so forth. Certain amount of atoms, they make up one whole thing. So it's a simple thing. A bunch of atoms make up one cell. A bunch of cells make one person. A bunch of people make one planet. A bunch of organisms make one planet. So you have to grasp. You're a person, I'm a person. I have billions of cells in me. You have billions of cells in you. So that's 2 billion cells between the both of us. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. 2 people to 2 billion cells. Now those 2 billion cells, they all have a billion atoms within them. So now you do your math. Each cell got a billion atoms within them. And that's how the life works. The small make up the big. Proton, neutron, electron, smaller than the atom, but they make up the atom. Quarks, this is another level smaller in life than the proton, neutron, but together they make up the proton, neutron. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Well, scientists at least. It doesn't stop. It stops when you can't perceive anymore. But that doesn't mean it stops. It just means it stops for you. So it's like time. When you die, then time here stops for you, but it don't stop. Just for you. Because you're done. So it's just like scientists. Or anything in science. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. Up and down quarks, they are made by 3. Those 3 things that make up an up and down quark, 3 things make each of them individually. And that's how you get the 3, 6, and the 9. You have to grasp. Simple thing. A proton, neutron, and electron make an atom. Those 3 things make an atom. And those 3 things are individually made by 3 things. Meaning, the proton is made by 2 up quarks, 1 down quark. That's 3 things. The neutron is made by 2 down quarks, 1 up quark. That's three things. The electron, this is the conscious. It's not truly understood, but it's made by its three fundamental properties also. And it's a deep thing, because in them three things you got 9 things. So those three make up the one. And within them three you got 9. And so on and so forth. So it's the same with the up and down quark. 2 up quarks and 1 down quark make a proton. 3 things make an up quark, and you have 2 of them. So that's 6 things. And 3 things make a down quark. So that's 9 things that make the proton. So this is the correlation of the 3, 6, and the 9 in the life. The 3 will become the 1. And the 6 will become the 3. Well, the 9 will become the 3. So it's a simple but deep thing. I hope y'all learned something in that, man. It's your main man, Solace, the humbled wise one. It's almost like Thoth is back. It's a deep thing. You gotta grasp. The smartest person on the planet. I say that in confidence, not ego. I don't even say it in confidence. It just is.